Welcome to Reason Workshop, Class 5, Midi Sequencing and Effects. Today we're going to go over MIDI sequencing and effects with Quantization, then the Vgroove mixer, then we'll go over Bloxx mode, then effects types and modules, and finally we'll have a test. So first of all, with Quantization, let's create an Octorex and open up the programmer and then just hit copy pattern to track and turn off enable loop playback. And let's turn on loop down on the transport and press play, and you can just hear it. Now if I double click on the clip, we can look at those individual slices and how the Octorex works. You can see that they're a little bit off of the grid. They're humanized. You know, it's a real drummer playing. Let's go over to the tool window here. Its value is at 16th notes, and we'll hit apply. Now watch this section. Watch when I hit apply. Bam. It snapped every hit right onto the grid. So to quantize, you just select the clip of MIDI notes and hit apply on the quantize tool menu. By the way, the hotkey for that is Command K, and it'll quantize. And when you quantize, there's a few things you can do. Right now it's at 16th notes. We can try a bunch of different quantized values. You can snap to bar, snap to half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, eighth note triplets, 16th notes, 16th triplets, all the way down to shuffle mode. But if we put it at eighth note triplets, you hit apply. Listen to this. So it's a triplet, one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, four triplet. But the amount was at 100%. If I undo what we had and then reapply this, but just at 50%, you can hear it. That's just a very subtle swing. Let's go to the Vgroove mixer now. Now you can do that on the tool window, of course. What you have to do first is select a Vgroove channel for your instrument, and then we'll go over here and alter that Vgroove channel. So you can change the timing of it, or we can open up a Vgroove patch. Check this out. That's adjusting the note length. You can also, of course, go into the Vgroove mixer. You can slide the entire thing, but some of those effects are better used on several lanes. So let's check this out. So I'm going to record a Kong patch. We'll make a Kong, and then I will create 3 lanes and label each one a different thing: kick, snare, hi-hat. So I'm going to record a hi-hat pattern and then a snare pattern, each on the assigned and labeled lane. And we'll add a 4th lane that's called claps. And now we'll record a kick pattern on the kick lane. Now, we're going to quantize everything to hard 16th notes after every take. So this is it, totally straight. So first of all, let's check out Global Shuffle. So I can go and quantize and set quantize value to shuffle. I hit apply, that shuffled it a little bit. So let's go back to hard 16ths and now assign a Vgroove channel to each lane, and we'll set different shuffle parameters to each one. So there we go. A1, A2, A3, and 4 for each of those. So let's start out with moving the claps. We're going to go to on A1, we're just going to slide them forward a little bit. We'll slide them forward, and now we'll slide the snares back a little bit. Check this out. So you hear how they're not hitting together. Now slide the snare forward with the clap. Now let's go find a different patch for those hi-hats. Let's try this one, Bobby B. Now let's find a patch for the kicks. Let's try this one, Funky D. You can also still turn up the shuffle amount on those individual channels. Also, with these faders, you can fade how much Vgroove is affecting those individual channels. Now let's go into Bloxx mode. So we created a groove. Let's cut that groove, and we're going to copy and paste it from song mode into Bloxx mode. So we click on Bloxx mode and then paste. So it's going to go from the beginning to the E marker. And you can double click on the block and you can name it something right now. Let's call it intro. Then when you go back into song mode, using the pencil, you can draw in your blocks. And you can paint it how long that you want. So let's select this block, copy and paste into block 2. And let's call this one verse. I'll record a faster 16th hi-hat pattern so it establishes a difference between block 1 intro and block 2 verse. Now, I can go back and forth between those. Now you have those different elements, so you can do mutes. Now if you want to do smaller changes in mutes, you can use the razor tool, and then you can just mute out those little parts. Now this way, it doesn't mute out those snares for the entire pattern. Now you can use these blocks as this special sequencer to come up with entirely new rhythms and cut them up into these little sections. So watch this. I'll just cut up the intro section into some 16th notes. And I'll move everything else over. I'll take a few of these parts over as well, a few of these 16th notes. Now, any of those sequenced edits affect everything that was in the block. So, no matter what you had in there, if it was, guitar and bass and vocals and all those things would collectively do these hits. And you can also record things in song mode directly over Bloxx mode. So I can record a bass like this directly over that. The blocks can be edited and new material can be added to them, and that will affect everything within them as they're copied in song mode. The edited song sequence now plays with these new block elements. Okay, let's go through the different effects modules. Now, to auto-route a device to an effect, you just click on the device and then click Create Effect. So let's start out with the M-Class Equalizer. The M-Class Equalizer is a 4-band EQ, and you can boost or cut by enabling those different sections. Turn up the highs, lows. You can select the frequency and how much gain and what the width is of each band. After that, you have a stereo class imager, which gives you more of a stereo width. Then you can go into the M-class compressor, which basically squeezes the signal so that it has less dynamic range. And then you have an M-class maximizer, which does some limiting effects to it. Then you have a Line 6 guitar amp, which is basically modeling a guitar amplifier. And you also have a Line 6 bass amp. Scream 4 sound destruction unit. The body has an envelope section to it. It does some auto filtering. You have a EQ boost cut section. And it also has overdrive, distortion, fuzz, tube, tape, feedback, modulation, warp, a whole bunch of things like that. Pulverizer is very advanced too. Now this gives you distortion effects as well as envelope effects, filter, and even tremolo effects to it. Also, you can do parallel processing just by moving the dry wet knob down. The Alligator triple filter gate does all kinds of rhythmic gate patterns, and it has delay and phaser, some distortion built into it, panning for each gate. The RV7000 Advanced Reverb, acoustic simulation device. Decay, high frequency damp, a whole bunch of things. You can also open up the remote programmer and there's a whole bunch of more parameters within it. Here's the echo, and there's feedback control, diffusion, tube and distortion color within it, filter settings, panning, built-in modulation. The feedback is up high enough you can hear the delay trail off at the end. There's also breakout jacks on the back of it so that you can affect each delay with another device that's fed into it. The B512 vocoder, you have to have two devices in order for that to work, and it sums them together. Then there's the Neptune, which is a pitch adjuster and voice synth. So it's best if you hook up your voice to it. For now, we'll move on. I want to show you the half racks here. We'll go through all these effects in finite detail on future videos. For right now, I'll just show you all of these little half rack effects. As you can see, as you add more effects, they all route into each other, and the signal flow starts to get more complex. The coarse flanger adds a lot to the bass sound to make it really rich. Here's the PH90 phaser. We have the compressor and this two-band parametric EQ, which you can turn on the B EQ, affect the gain here, and that will boost or cut what you set with your frequency, and then the Q is the width.